All right, good morning, everyone. Here we are. I believe I can be heard. I have a bar. Been watching most of them, but not usually live. Hello, Dave Coleman. All you got to do is send us your YouTube name, real name, and the email address that I'd send a PayPal invoice to coppercoinspayments@gmail.com. coppercoinspayments@gmail.com, and we'll get you in. But that doesn't keep you from watching. You watch all you want for free. I am falling a little bit behind this morning. I don't know why I scheduled this for so early. I was completely unprepared. So now I'm working on getting the names stuffed into the flips. I do this in no particular order at all. The only thing I do make sure of is that I don't pick up the same name twice in a row. Need your YouTube address, your YouTube name as well, to be sure. I'm sure Dave Coleman is probably Dave Coleman, but just in case his name could be John Smith and he uses Dave Coleman on YouTube, which some people do, I need to know your real name and your YouTube name, and if they're the same, just mention such. So let's see who's all here. I got my top chat on. Make sure you put live chat on. Hit that like and subscribe button for me. There we go. Let's see. We've got Richard Mickey Stonecutter. We've got Dan. Eric. I have a lot of people watching. We've got a lot of conversation. Mostly about the weather. Our weather this morning. Current temperature is 40 degrees. It's kind of cloudy and dreary outside. Not expecting any precipitation today that I know of. The only thing we're expecting today is a football game. Get my Steelers on. I was a little bit disappointed yesterday that they canceled the game for yesterday and moved it to today, but I guess I can understand why. I would rather be able to see the game, you know. And I'm pretty sure that wouldn't have been the case if they'd showed it yesterday. You'd be looking at basically a fog of snow. But I am here to watch my Steelers today. Hopefully they'll make it further in the playoffs, although I'm not 100% sure that they deserve it this year. But I have to take a little pressure off that Rudolph was actually able to perform after Kenny Pickett was pulled from the lineup for injury. I say it like it's baseball. Pulled off the roster. Would be the roster. The active roster. He's still on the player roster. So I'm almost done here. Working on getting the last bit of these all finished up, and then we'll get into this roll, dig in and see what we can find. 1972D, known for doubled dies, double die obverses. Not really any double die reverses known. And then we have a small assortment of repunch mint marks that are validly listed on different websites. There are some that are not listed as valid RPMs on other websites that I kind of still believe could be RPMs. But because them other cats don't list them, I don't either. Maybe they have some insight that I don't. Something like someone showed them a punch from the mint that already had a corner gnawed out of it. Something. Who knows? All right, here we go. We got that part ready to go. What happened to Taco John? How about them Packers? $20 an hour. Yeah, I might get caught shoveling some snow for $20 an hour. Who knows? All right, here's our roll. 1972D. It is a nice BU original Bad Dwarf roll. Gonna get that open now. See what's inside. Would you believe I can't find my opener? That's okay. I have a thumbnail. Just pick at this stuff until I can get it open. There you go. See, I got it started with my thumb. And a little piece of paper hanging off the edge there. That's going to provide me all I need to get this end wide open. There we go. Oh, Mickey's hungry. Mickey's all talking about Taco Bell. Hello, 75 in pennies, baby. Had a good time at the fun show. Had a good time in Florida all the way around. It's a little bit of a lengthy trip. A little longer than I'm used to. Got home, my dog, well, he still knew me, but he was a little pissed because I was gone for so long. There we go. Wrapper over the coins, just like that. There we go. All right, got them all ready to go. Let's see what we get out of here. First coin, it's going to go to Stan. Stan Horn, let's see what you got. Well, let's get moved in just a little bit more, get it focused a little better. Get our lighting on center. And I don't see anything on this mint mark. And what about doubling perhaps on trust or somewhere up there? I don't see anything there either. Looks like we got a dud coin for coin number 1 in the roll. Let's take a look at the reverse on the first 10 coins to see if we come up with anything useful. It is not likely on the reverse side of a 1972 Lincoln cent. And you can see the marks from the counter. Thank you, Doug. And welcome to you as well. Coin number 2 here. Taco John. Oh, Mickey, man, you never cease to surprise. Let's see. So a little bit of a clash right there below the RT. You can see the lines right there. And that's of the rooftop and the eave or the cornice. That comes out to about here, and then it cuts down and goes into columns. See what we have over here on this side of the design. Not much. It's been polished off for the most part. Has no extra value, just a little bit of interest. And I see something that is usually a death sentence for finding RPM or double dies in a roll. You see what I see? The N is recut or rehashed. You see it more if you look at it like this. You can see that the extra stick right up here, over here, and it's a little bit doubled right here on this edge. As are some of the other letters, especially the E in we. It's going to have a little doubling to its left, right on our screen because it's upside down. And then the top half of the U shows some doubling. Let me get it turned around here so it looks more proper. There you go. You can see the doubling right up here and a little bit of it up on that side. This is the typical Class 2 class 1+2 double die that is associated with a master die for 1972, and ended up making about half of all 1972 Lincoln cents, including the proof coins, with the same doubling. And the biggest pickup point for you is that N, because that N is rather unusual. Let me turn the exposure down just a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. But you can see that there's almost two N's there. The top of the B in Liberty is often also stretched and doubled just a little bit. These are almost more common than finding normally struck Lincolns in 1972 with just the single design. Now, where that is significant is that most of the double dies that occurred in 1972 occurred during the period of time that they were using a normal master die. So if you see this master die doubling, your chances are a lot lower of actually acquiring a double die. There's another one of those clashes. This one's a little bit better than the other. You can see most of the edge of the building going down. Right through the middle of the R is the edge of the building. Not a whole lot of value in that. They are kind of interesting, maybe somewhat collectible, just to show what you have. Now see, there's something that's really cool. That's the top of the 9 from the 1972 showing up over there on the other side. And that's really the only part of the obverse design that's showing on the reverse. There's the top of the 9 from 1972. Mickey, hang on just a second. That should be a lot better, I hope. Should be better for everyone. Should have good sound now. Yeah, the reverse is pretty strong on this one. The steps are almost completely filled in, which is very unusual for 1972 issues. 1972, 71 and 72 actually. All right, let's move on to coin number 4. It will take me the full hour to finish this show and get ready for the next one. I showed up to work kind of ill-prepared today, so I have to get my shoes and socks on to go run a mile, you know. Let's see here. Okay. Nothing real showing up on this one. There's a little bit of that clash mark above the 1-9. Should be a little bit of a clash mark over here too. Looks like most of these have some die clash marks to some extent, but unless they're really strong and really obvious, they generally don't have much value. Just a little bit on the common side. Here's another one. Shows just a little bit of the date right there, right on the edge of the top on the right side. Could be the 1 there. There's part of the head. It's part of the back of the head right there showing up. That's number 4. Now number 5 for Ant. Get that focus just a little bit better. Most of what people are looking for with 1972D would be doubling of In God We Trust. Beyond that, a few RPMs that are decent, worth looking for. Haven't ever found a double die reverse for 1972D. Eric can correct me if I am wrong on that. $9 in Abilene, Texas. That's pretty cold for you. Let's see. Oh, this one looks a little sharper than a lot of the others. But we have that typical, I call it the die 5. And the reason I call it the die 5 is because back before Conecuh, or specifically James Wiles, changed the listings and moved the master hub doubling over to its own type of listing, an MH listing or an MD listing. It was priorly known as DDO5, or was what was it? It was 501+2, and it was tripled. So it's a complicated number, but the issue here is that there's just basically absolutely nothing for value in those because they are so common. Over half of all 1972 Lincoln cents are minted with that mark. That's a hit in the top section of the mint mark there. Got just a little tiny skirt right there, a little point right there on the bottom of the 2. Those are sometimes considered double dies. I don't really subscribe to that. They have to be a little more obvious to be listable. And nothing on Liberty. I'll flip it over, take a look at the reverse. Little doubling on the right side of what column? I'm not familiar with that. Definitely not saying it doesn't exist. I'm just saying I'm not familiar with that. Well, that's coin number 7. Number 8 for Mark. Let's take a look and see what we get here. Looks rather common-esque. It is. Oh, yeah, I remember that one. You'd be looking right above the statue for a line that's angled. I remember that. Now I do. I actually sold a bunch of rolls that had some of those tucked away inside. This is a number of the people from the Copper Coins family. Have some of those. Here's one for Parviz. I did visit him over the weekend. He seems to be in good spirits, doing pretty well. He is still ambulatory, moving around. He's not very quick at it, but he does okay. He was in good spirits. He was happy to see Mickey and myself. Wanted to do all sorts of things for us. Was almost embarrassed that he couldn't just whip up a meal and feed us or something. And I wish he didn't feel that way, and I did the best I could to quell that concern. We didn't need anything. We were just there to visit with Parviz. Number 10. Paul? Also made a little time to visit with a friend of mine in Alachua, Florida. Doesn't even have a computer, so he doesn't participate on online things. I met him through another dealer a number of years ago, and he was kind of retiring, point where he just wanted to kind of sell off everything. And I've been slowly buying his inventory. A lot of the things that you guys have purchased over the last 2 years came from him. It was a fun visit, interesting visit. And then Mickey and I took on the journey home starting at around noon from Alachua, Florida. And we made it back here probably around 10:30 at night, 9:30 to 10:30 at night, somewhere in there. Both of us were flat out of it. I mean, we were more than ready to get home, especially that last 10 miles. I need to be reading a little bit more. Yes, Parvis got his cards. He certainly did. He didn't open any of them while I was there. But we had a good time getting to visit with him. Talking about his family. He's always proud of his family. Wants to talk about them. Jordan, Elizabeth, and his son, John, who lives in the Atlanta area. Wonderful man, good company, good friend, and I think a really good father, too. Showed me some of his stash of paper currency from the Middle East. I got to see what the notes of Iran and Iraq from the 80s and 90s, what they looked like. And Mickey and I, along with Robbie and Eric, had a great time in Orlando doing the fun show. It was as big as we had expected. It was as good as we had expected. Plenty of people there. And a lot of run-ins with people who I have already met or knew for years. And so it's kind of a comforting experience to go and partner up again with some of the people that you've known for years. There was Deanne and Scott were there. Also got to meet Brantley Ditto. That is an RPM. There we go. Nice RPM, 1972D. This one's for Farm Dog. I'm not exactly sure which number this one is, but it is a nice RPM. That's going to force me back through these coins to take a look again, make sure I didn't miss any of the others. It's the typical master die doubling on the obverse, but we have a nice obvious RPM, D over D West. So that one's going to get kicked out of the crowd. I see when you're doing it like this, you may not see it. You have to get the light on the field and get the side of that mint mark lit up just right in order to really see this. I'll put this one to the side and we'll be sure that after coin number 15 we'll get all of them pulled, but prior to coin number 15 there may be one or more still in the mix. Now see, this is one of those ones that was delisted as an RPM, and I disagree with delisting it as an RPM. It has some pretty obvious doubling on the top of it right there. And if I can get it positioned just right, you can also see the doubling all the way over to the corner. There it is. I call that an RPM. That right there to me looks like an RPM. I'm going to hold this one out and I'm going to pass it on to Eric and let him take a look at it. But to me, I think that's an RPM. Now this is probably one of the dies that was delisted as a damaged Mi'kmaq punch by Koneka. And I don't believe it. I don't see it. I see an RPM right there. Let's check real quick for double die. See if we happen to have a double die. Yeah. No, all of these are the master die doubling. Yeah, if it looks like a duck, right? Well, this is going to go to Mickey. So, if we have a listed RPM there, Mickey, congrats, sir. You just received one. What do we have here? This one looks normal. Normal, normal, normal. All the way around. That's for Frosty. Coin number 18 now for Carl. Another one that looks normal. Seen this die once before. There's a mark below the eye, dot below the eye right there. I saw on an earlier coin in the roll. I get moving just a little bit faster here. Coin number 19 back to Frosty. Yeah, nothing going on there. So this came straight out of a bank roll. Not necessarily important, but important enough to know that if both of those RPMs are listable RPMs, then you know that they came out of the mint at about the same time. That's the one place where looking through original rolls can kind of help you out just a little bit, as if you're trying to determine the timeliness of different die varieties. You can do so by knowing that they came in original rolls around the same time. For instance, 1961D, RPM number 4 and RPM number 1 are known to have come together in a lot of rolls. So it's assumed that they were minted around the same day, during the same week for sure. Because they went in bags together and subsequently got thrown into rolls together. Generally, when you find two coins from an original roll that are of different dies, good morning Arizona Coins, that you want to be sure that you're keeping them together in mind, because those are often minted on the same day, at the same time, on the same presses. Nothing there. Nothing really discernible on that one. I tell you what, I'm going to make this just a little bit easier. I know that it looks nice and pretty this way, but it's really hard to do. What I'm going to do Good morning, Farm Dog. Let's move my lighting up just a little bit. I'm going to move my focal point out just a little bit. Bring us a little bit more coin at once. Actually focused better that way. So get us through them just a little quicker. Got two different RPMs I'm looking at right now. 1972D, that's quite a feat, but we've got one pretty RPM and then one that I believe is one of the ones that was delisted by Kaneka at some point years ago. But I still believe it to be an RPM. I believe we're probably going to end up relisting it if it is unlisted. Yeah, Farm Dog, you got a pretty RPM. Here's your RPM, Farm Dog. Yeah. This is Farm Dog's coin again here. There you go. Take a look at that. Nice RPM. Now number 25 for Tyler. Get this thrown back into focus here. And nothing here, just a little hit on the upper part of the mint mark. A lot of hits on this coin. Would be kind of average for 1972. That's the middle of the roll. Now one for Eric. Nothing there. Number 27 now, Frosty. We will be having a roll reveal show this evening. I'm going to be doing rolls this coming week. I have 5 rolls currently that I owe you guys that I've owed for almost a month now. My apologies for that. Things get kind of tight and weird around December and early January. I'm back in the saddle doing regular things again. So I'm going to get 3 of the 5 that I owe you done today. And then the other 2 I'll be able to do tomorrow. Prior to the auction, we will be having an auction tomorrow. It will be the auction that we were supposed to try to have when I was at Eric's house, but we did not find the right assortment of equipment for me to be able to show the coins the way I wanted to show them. Thus, I just put it off until we got back in our regular saddles. So, to that end, we are going to, looks like we have another one of the RPMs here. Yeah, indeed. We have doubling in the upper part of the mint mark. And I believe this is one of the dies that Kaneka cleared from their list. And I don't believe it should be. So there's coin number 31 now for Carl. We'll be doing the auction. We'll be doing the reveals. I'm back with you guys. Kind of missed it a little bit. That's a kind of unusual marking. It looks like a clash of some sort. That's different. Counterclash or something, I don't know. Let's check the reverse of this coin just in case. Thinking maybe there could be some sort of a counterclash or something going on here. There's a nice big die break on the CE of cent. Looks like the designer's initials are nearly worn smooth. Alright, let's get on to coin number 30. This one's from Malcolm. And Mr. Malcolm, looks like he's going to end up with a normal coin here. Do need to get the lighting just a little more on top of things. See if that does us just a little bit better there. I think it will. Yeah. Got the dog all camped out right behind me here on his bed, and he's got his little heater turned on. You do find out when you're gone for lengthy periods of time like this that you do love those at home. You come back and it's always a great thing to see them, be with them again. My wife, my dog. Of course, Mickey made the mistake that when he got home, he went straight to the dog. Never, never go straight for the dog. Yeah, no, I don't feel bad. Yesterday I had a bit of a headache, a little hard to shake it and get rid of it, and I was really tired. And I think that's just exhaustion from the trip. Not built like I used to be. Kind of weird. No, but I feel relatively fine. Here's number 34. Stan. Stan the man. Let's see what he gets. Nice, clean, earlier die state coin there. Wow. If that were something, it would be beautimous. But this one just appears to be the die 5 stuff. Or the master die doubling. Just like all the other 33 coins in the roll so far. I think that's all we're going to find here today. And then a couple of RPMs. We're going to be kind of dry on double dies here. But RPMs are fun. Let's see if we get one for Eric here. Yes, we did. Look at that. One of the pretty little RPMs here for Eric is nice mid-die state, early to mid-die state coin. Very well struck. Give you a pretty example of a nice RPM. That one's for Eric. Now for Jordan. And for Jordan, we've got, it's a normal coin. Got my hair all in a tussle about the Steelers and Bills game yesterday. I really wanted to see that game yesterday. It was like one of those heavy desires. I went to sleep and fell asleep the other night before the Kansas City Chiefs Dolphins game even started. I slept all the way through it. I woke up at about 3 o'clock in the morning. Went back to sleep and woke up at 9 o'clock in the morning. So I was asleep for 12 hours that night. There's one for Parviz. It looks like we have one of those little north-south RPMs. Could be. Maybe. No. No, it's not. I was looking at what I thought was a separation line running across the top of the mint mark, but I guess that's not what I saw. Kind of look at it upside down, look at it sideways, and I'm just not really able to make out that second serif. Isn't that right, Mickey? We're a couple of old guys, right? Old guys can't make long trips without having to sleep before and after. And heck, I slept some in the car. Well, Mickey drove. It rained on us from just about the Florida-Georgia line all the way home. And it was a icky rain by the time we got home. Really, really heavy rain. So much so that I was going about 10 miles an hour on the highway out on North Carolina 210. Thought I was going to have to stop right there because I couldn't see anything. It was pretty icky. Coin number 42 now for Taco John. What do we have here? Okay, it's a flick, part of a hit. And nothing else on the obverse there. Looks like Mickey and I are talking about the possibility of doing a trip, a buying trip, sometime in the next 2 to 3 months, going north, looking for dealers in and around western Pennsylvania and eastern Ohio who might have what we're looking for. Just basically Lincoln scent rolls, wheat bags, Lincoln scent bags, mint sealed bags, any of that sort of thing. The kind of stuff that dealers don't like carrying to shows because they're too heavy and too cumbersome. Just precisely the kind of stuff I like to buy. I like to have the opportunity to open mint sealed bags for you guys. And wait until after snow season is over. I don't want to get caught up in a snowstorm up in Pennsylvania. But plan is to go up to and around Harrisburg, Pittsburgh, and maybe over toward Cincinnati. Something in that direction, maybe. We got the side of Eric's fence done. Actually, that was really more of a Mickey and Eric thing because I didn't bring shoes with me that I could clomp around in the mud with. And it was kind of wet out there. But Mickey and Eric, for the most part, got finished with the wooden side of the fence. Now there's a metal fence that goes across the back, kind of like a chicken wire fence. It's a post and mesh fence that Eric's going to finish up. He's got to clip back some bushes and get the stakes relayed. And where's that relaying? Reburied? Reposted? I don't know. Something like that. Says he's got almost half the back wire fence done now. So, there you have it. What we didn't get done motivated him to work after we left. Now, number 49, near the end of this roll, we've got Paul. And Paul gets a normal coin. Normal like 45, 46 of the other coins in this roll. 45 so far. We have coin number 50. Let's see what we're going to get for coin number 50 and who's it for. Dan McCumber. And Dan, it's a normal coin with the typical roll circle of death. Alright, so that's what we've got for this roll. We have 46 normal coins. We have 2 examples of a nice RPM, a really nice RPM. One of these is, what am I doing here? I look drunk. One of them is for Farm Dog, the other is for Eric. And then we have 2 rather minor RPMs, and I think they're the same one. One is for Matt, one's for Mickey. And that's what we have here. Folks, I'm going to be just a little bit late getting on for the next round. Probably, I'm going to say probably 11:05 to 11:10. I'm only going to be 5 to 10 minutes late. But that's because I walked in today totally unprepared for today and just scheduled a bunch of shows without thinking about the ramifications of the work that goes into getting them ready. But I'm sure all of you can understand. All right, folks, I appreciate it. Okay, I appreciate it, Farm Dog. Thank you. All right. I'll see you guys in just a few minutes.